I'm not vain, and I don't believe in, I have to be careful how I say this because I know plastic surgery is, pretty common, but I don't believe in medically altering your body just for the sake of. And I'm not sure it will fully get me where I need to be.
This is Crack This Shit Open, a story podcast about coming into who you are while accepting the things you cannot change. Sometimes it is less about fitting in one box or the other, but just creating a place where you fit. How important is it to look to the world the way you feel on the inside? This is Accepting Me for Me, a Crack This Shit Open. Jay and I continued to chat at the restaurant in the brisk southern outdoors of Virginia Beach, late November. We talk about how I eventually found self-acceptance.
When I was younger, I would tape my chest down, or I would put bandage around it so I can have a flat shirt. I would go to the gym and work out because I recognized that I had more of a box. I can create more of a box or a ruler type of look where it would be very hard for you to tell that I was a girl unless I started speaking to you. And of course, I didn't have a deep voice, right? Or you can kind of, see from some of my facial features.
I never felt connected with my breast. It never felt like they were invited, kind of like rude guests at a house party. Always a nuisance. In high school, I wore 2 tight sports bras just to flatten my chest. I was going for the aesthetic so that my shirts can lay flat. Today, I wear a semi-binder, but sports bras mainly. I remember openly having a conversation with my mother in my 30s and telling her, I think I'm ready. I don't remember her saying anything. But I know, even though she was trying to be supportive, she was conflicted. Because as long as she's known me from the time that I was born, I was her daughter, a girl, a woman, a female, a she. I had done all the research to understand the costs, the post-op surgery. I remember scrolling for hours, looking at other patients who had their breasts completely removed. The surgical scars, unlung the folds in the nipples. But I just wanted mine to go. I felt like the surgery would somehow finally reveal me. But then I remember reading the hundreds of stories of complications. I think we all have to find a way that is most comfortable, most authentic to how we want to present ourselves in our world. I was not aspiring to become a male. I was aiming to remove a very female identifying body part in order to feel more in alignment with who I am, an androgynous, gender-fluid being.
But as far as clothes, I can create that look.
Yeah.
So when I look in the mirror, I can get some type of that mental image that I have with myself would somewhat be congruent with the image that's coming back.
Right.
I don't see my chest. I don't see my hips.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, I can float in this space. This can work. So getting hormone therapy, again, it's one of those, is that going to get me 100% to where I need to be? Now, I did contemplate about getting rid of cycles because I hate that shit. But so does every other person, right? But to be well, to be a healthy human being, for me, for a woman, for a biological woman, I have to have it. After I did my research, I would do more harm by getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So again, it's me being practical.
Yeah.
Like
looking at bigger picture.
Bigger picture.
Yeah.
My health is very, as you can see, is very important to me, and so I don't want to butcher my.
Right. So in hopes of a pursuit of what you perceive to be happiness.
Yeah.
And you're only to get there, and it's not.
Yeah. Even when I'm not confident in what this thing is, I just know it's a thing. It's just how I feel.
Right.
I don't even know if I'm crazy. I don't know, right? but
no,
this is not normal. Like, take it back.
Yeah,
it's not common. It's not something that you hear. Right. It's not the social norm.
Yeah.
But this is this thing this pendulum that I'm constantly having to shift with. So how do you exist in it? And the person that you see today is how I exist in it. And that's what I'm still struggling with. Like I'm accepting that this thing, the mental anguish, the disappointment, because it is a disappointment to me, because I'm not happy with, you want to call it a gift, I'm not happy with the gift, but it's a gift, right? And there's some positive things there, right? My personality, my zest for just life in general, my love and acceptance of just people, right? I don't want to throw all that away because I'm not in the package.
Right. I got you.
That if I can just take some time to really say, okay, what would you want to look like?
Right.
What car did you really want to be?
Right. I got you.
But I did know that I could not be that disgruntled, shut-in child. And it's taken me a very long time to get to this point where I can just start speaking about it, maybe sharing it.
Yeah.
But it took some other people to say, hey, look, you need to share your story.
Right.
There's probably others, and it's not even a probably, I know there's others that struggle with who they are, who they present themselves, and how they present themselves. Vice where society and the world is telling them that that's wrong.
Right.
You're wrong. The very essence of who you are is wrong. And I got a problem with that. I'm going to let you know I got a problem with that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because that's where society is.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Am I religious? I used to be. And then I walked away. See, I had to make new choices that worked best for me. But that doesn't mean I don't hold on to some of the more humane aspirations of Christian doctrine and principles. For example, the serenity prayer. I love this poem. It centers me and brings instant levity to any situation I face. I can't control everything, people's thoughts, or how people may want to treat me. I can't change who I am. Through this prayer, I learn rather than to get beside myself about my body, how it looks, to accept it, find peace, joy, and delight in the things that I can change. It's helped me to focus on the joy and other traits I have to offer, not only to myself, but to the world. It has helped me get out of my head a bit. Boy, do I need to get out of my head. And realize that this is not so large and looming, that I can navigate my way through this. This doesn't mean I don't have low moments, because I do. I just have a tool now, the serenity prayer.
But I think at this point, I'm just okay with just where it is, right? It's just kind of, you are where you are. So let's focus on something that you can control. Don't lose the ability to experience and grow in other facets of your life because you're so hamstrung on you didn't get what you wanted. Be happy, you know, embrace, you know, who you are, but there's so much more.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost kind of like my sexuality, right? Shit's on a full spectrum.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just moves. Like I like what I like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't have a term for it, nor do I want to put a term on it. It just is. All right, let's move on.
Right.
Seriously,
No,
right?
Yes.
And all this is like is me. Like I have no terminology for who I am. I have no terminology for what I want to be or how I want to exist. I just want to be. I mean, this sounds kooky, but just like leaves on a tree. It's just is.
Yeah. No doubt.
You see what I'm saying? And I no longer want to fight trying to color these hard, strict lines on what this thing is or what I am or how I love or who I'm going to be. I don't want to do it because that's binding and that's tormenting because I don't exist and I'm not meant to be into these hard, rigid lines.
Right.
So just let me be is ultimately, you know, where I am. And that's how right now I feel like I actually float in life because I can just be.
Yeah.
You know, and I can just go with the flow or what's going on and not feel like, okay, I gotta follow this hard, rigid lines or paint by numbers or whatever. Whatever society sort of dictates. You know, there's all these rules and oh, you gotta do it this way. No, you gotta look this way. You gotta walk this way. You gotta wear this. So if that's acceptance, that's my acceptance with it, and that's what's allowed me to be happy and content.
Because you accept something about yourself that it doesn't sometimes like bother you. You know what I mean? When people say I accept it, or when you say accept it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't still affect you at certain times. And but that's a part of the acceptance, accepting that it will. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's still life to live, like you said. And I just, man, that's so powerful for so many different reasons. Like, you know, just being like, able to look at it like I can't necessarily dictate and change this. But there's so much other stuff that I can focus on. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? In any situation. That's what it's all about. But no, that's dope. That's dope that you. So at what point do you feel like you came to that?
Now, when I say now, my 40s.
Yeah.
And I'm only 41.
Right.
Oh, so now.
Yeah, like recently. Right. Yeah, I feel you. Okay.
You know, I'm good with my family. You know, friends. To be honest, they have all been more accepting than I would have imagined. You know what I mean? Like, people was like, Shay, you know, what's your coming out story? I don't have one.
Yeah.
You know why I don't have one? Because my family and friends knew this shit before I did. You know what my sister said to me? Oh, I was just waiting for you to figure it out. So that was like my coming out. Like, everyone that I went to, it was just, and they just rolled off into the next part of the conversation. It was like, okay, water's wet. You know, and my mom like thinking this was a secret.
Right.
But I forgot that, you know, 7-year-old Shay, that's what they've been seeing over these years. You know what I mean? And it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of internal of me feeling, no, go this way. No, go this way.
Right.
No, go this way. And that's not me saying, no, go this way. That's society.
Yeah.
That's, you know, others trying to, you know, push and force me into areas that they wanted me
Right.
to be in, and I not having the wherewithal to say, no, stop. That's not me. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to do that. And that also meant for my mother. Stop. I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
Stop addressing me as that. Like, Shayla.
Yeah.
You can tell you can tell it rubs, right?
Yeah, I see it. Like, and,
you know, and I tell people all the time, I say, look, my name is Shay. I got it. You understand my given name.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't identify with that.
Yeah.
You know, my dad months ago called me beautiful. And I had no feeling with it. It was just kind of like, oh, I should say something back. Like, I think what I should say is, thanks, Dad.
Yes. Like, that's the appropriate response.
But how robotic is that?
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, I think I should respond this way. Vice someone giving you a compliment that you identify with,
mm-hmm.
and it welling up so much emotion that you just speak from that emotion. So I was at a club in Atlanta for my birthday.
Okay.
I was in a suit and tie. It's fresh.
I've seen you with suited and booted.
And I remember getting a drink from the bartender, turning away. And she was like, "You are so handsome." And I got that emotion.
Right.
Like, I blushed. I like felt like all crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have that with beautiful. Mm-hmm. I still don't. When people say, "Hey, lady," I still don't. I mean, it's just like they're trying to be respectful and you know what I mean? But it's like, you know what I mean? And like the bartender, she didn't know if that was something that I would identify. Maybe she sensed it.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, that I identify with that to this day. Like, when people compliment me and say, "Hey, you're handsome," I'm like, yeah, that's.
And what's
I got
crazy is that I feel like a lot of people would, I guess the ignorant, you know what I mean, would be quick to say, "Oh, so you want to be a boy?" You know what I mean? Like just like listening to that, like, "Oh, so you identify as a man?" It's like, no, I just, you know what I mean? It's just like that, I guess, adjective that describes typically masculinity. I identify with that. Yeah. You know, and it sounds like it's just bits and pieces on each side. Yeah. Something that I want to, how has this played a factor with you entering and moving up in the ranks in the military? Because I'm assuming that they address you as man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I currently serve as an active duty soldier in the United States Army. I was commissioned in 2001. I now hold the rank of Lieutenant Colonel and specialize in military intelligence and war planning. I have over 19 years of service. I've served 4 combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. I've commanded over 100 soldiers and led 1,500 person organizations.
It doesn't affect me because ma'am is just the same as Colonel Potter.
Okay.
It's a title.
Okay. And
I will tell people, you either address me as one or the other.
Okay. I know I'm a minority within a minority, especially when I say, I don't believe the world should tiptoe or adjust their psyche and beliefs, because now I'm visible in their world. I believe those that need and want to educate themselves about gender fluidity, being androgynous and non-binary, they will do so. So how do I deal with those who use pronouns or titles such as lady, ma'am, and Miss Potter? I kindly ask them, just call me Shay.
I know you said I should be doing this for self, but I am doing this for self, but I'm doing this more for the people that need me to be visible, but I need to do it my way. And that can't be what I thought, when we went down to Atlanta. Okay, I'm supposed to be on this stage with, rainbows and shit, just out there loud and, you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. I got you.
But I think it's in this form here so that I can say, I see you. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm ultimately trying to communicate. It's quiet. It's not spectacular. But I just want to put a subtle voice out there. I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For those that just need that assurance. Just that flicker of light that, okay, someone sees me. Sees me for me.
The following is an excerpt from episode 4 of Crack This Shit Open.
Do you think that's why you subconsciously didn't play a large role growing up because I was a girl? I'm just trying to figure out that gap as to, okay, you have a girl, you wanted a boy. She plays basketball, baseball, she's a little rambunctious. She likes music, she likes building things. But even with all of that, I can't really find that connection as a father to her.
Well, I just, at that time, I just accepted you for what you were.
Act 1 focused on me looking within to answer, who am I? Act 2 explores that same question, but through my parents' perspective. So keep listening. Next episode is Rhythm and Blues, Part 1 of Crack This Shit Open. See you then.
Crack This Shit Open is narrated and produced by Shay Potter. Editing on this episode from Chelsea Sutton and Shay Potter. Sound design and mix by Cooper Mannon. Again, special thanks to Jeremiah Dace in this episode. Music in this episode is Step In, Step Out by Blue Dot Session and Life Illusion by Ketsa. Our theme song is by Blue Dot Session. Please check out more at our website, ShaylaDPotterMedia.com. That's ShaylaDPotterMedia.com. Crack This Shit Open is owned by Be Better Media Productions Company.